Welcome to my mini museum. This is episode 9 of our 80s dance music, 45 RPM vinyl records. And we're starting right out the gate here with Flashdance, What a Feeling by Irene Cara. And this was obviously from the motion picture soundtrack Flashdance, the film. Hit number 1 in April of 1983. Casablanca Records. I always think of Kiss whenever I see a Casablanca. Although they did have a number of other good artists, a lot of disco artists on there. B-side being a song called Love Theme from Flashdance, which is an instrumental by Helen St. John. So I don't believe Irene had anything to do with that. The next one up is also a soundtrack cut from Irene, from the movie Fame. I Want to Live Forever. Hit number 4 in July of 1980. And the B-side of this one is, again, not her, but it's from the soundtrack of the film. A song called Never Alone by the contemporary gospel chorus, the High School of Music and Art. Yeah, cool. So, that one was, 3 years earlier, 1980 for Fame and 1983 for Flashdance. But I wanted to show Flashdance first because I like that song a little better than Fame. Next up, we've got another oldies series, Atlantic reissue. Sister Sledge doing We Are Family. Hit number 2 in March of 79 with that song. And the B-side is another chart topper, hit number 9 anyways, in March of 79 with He's the Greatest Dancer. And that song I do not recognize at all. I definitely know We Are Family, and I might know this one if I put it on and gave it a spin, but going off the title, not something I'm familiar with. Next up, we've got another big number 1 hit here with Lady Marmalade by LaBelle. That one hit number 1 in February of 75, after having been released in November of 74, as Epic on their re-release series were really good about giving us the original release dates. And the B-side here was from a year later, April of 75, was the song What Can I Do For You? So clearly, if you go back and get that original Lady Marmalade, which I do think I do have one of, I think it's on a orange label, Epic orange label, originally, the B-side is quite possibly a different song. I don't know for positive, but I do think that they changed it on this one, because this coming out in April of 75, and the Lady Marmalade coming out in November of 74. They were probably not on the same disc originally. It's just for this reissue. And you'll notice the barcode ends up on the sticker on the sleeve, but it's a questionable barcode because if you look at the numbers there, it says number 4, all zeros, and 45. So I think they're just tracking this in somebody's antique shop or something, as having been a 45 and not specifically that 45. I don't think that was for a point of sale at the time that the disc was original. So, Rescue Me. That's a song that we all know and love really well. This one's going way back, so we're not near the 80s, but it's still something you could dance to. Hit number 4 in October of 1965. And I do believe this is an original Chess Records edition of it. It is clearly marked as the A-side there. But Fontella Bass. I could not have told you who did that if you had asked me who did Rescue Me. The B-side is a different artist, Jan Bradley, doing Mama Didn't Lie. And that one doesn't ring any bells for me, but it hit number 14 on the charts in February of 63. But it is marked as the B-side, which is interesting. So what I said just a moment ago about this being original, yeah, it's an original Chess, but it's not an original issue of that song or either one of these songs. This is the Chess reissue It is actually, now that I see the notation here, 1983. So 20 years after the original release, they did this re-release. And I like that logo. That's a pretty cool chess layout there for the artwork on that. And that's pretty cool. So anyways, let's get back to some 80s here with Taco, Putting on the Ritz. I do remember seeing the video for this one. Not a song that I'm a particular fan of, but it is a song I'm aware of and do know. Clearly marked as A-side there. And on the B-side, which this is a good example of what we were talking about just a few episodes back. See how there's no damage to that label. It's nice and clean and smooth, but you get it laying down, it looks like it's all scuffed up. That's from the glue. But anyways, Living in My Dream World, clearly the B-side. Even if it wasn't marked as the B-side, I would know that being the B-side, because I know Putting on the Ritz, which is not the exact same song as Young Frankenstein, Putting on the Ritz. If you remember that film, it's a funny scene. Alright, so yeah, we are kind of not hitting the 80s here. We're kind of getting a little bit more disco at the end, and that's alright. It's still dance music. The Van McCoy doing The Hustle from the album Disco Baby. Yeah, it's clearly disco. 1975. Do 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 do. I remember this song very well. Do the hustle. That's about the extent of the lyrics, is do the hustle. And the B-side is a song called Hey Girl, Come and Get It from the same album, the same year. But I know the hustle's the A-side. There's no doubt about that. So next up, we got a Starline sleeve here, which is kind of cool. Don't really remember seeing that. They're part of Capitol. You'll see it here again. It's there off to the left of the Capitol logo. But this is a song hit number 1 in March of 1976. The Silvers doing Boogie Fever. And if that ain't disco, I'll eat this platter, because that's definitely disco. Right in the height of it, 76. And the B-side is a song called Hotline, which kind of rings a bit of a bell for me, but I can't really pull the tune up in my head. But I'll bet you I know this one. Hit number 5 in November of 76. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one I would recognize if we put it on. I'm pretty sure I know Boogie Fever too. And like I said, we've kind of hit a string of discos here. So this would have been good for my Dance to Disco episodes that I did 2 of, and kind of dropped that series in favor of this 80s dance music instead, because I had a lot more 80s dance than disco here. But I do still have quite a few discos set aside that we could do if you guys really want to see them, and there's a really strong interest in it. But here we got Disco Inferno by the Tramps, hit number 11 in March of 78. And yeah, you don't get much more disco than the Disco Inferno. And the B-side of that one is a song called That's Where the Happy People Go. And apparently it hit number 27 in the charts in June of 76. But I don't think this is a reissue. I think it's just got 2 songs that both charted here. It's interesting. It's a Tom Moulton mix from the album. So quite possibly this is different from the album version that you would hear if you grab the album and put it on. So it says the same thing here on this side. So very interesting. Not sure about what that's about. So these may or may not be the same as the songs you would hear on the album proper. Now there's another one of those barcodes, and it's still got a 4 with 45. So it's not specific to the platter itself. It's just somebody tracking categories of product in their system. Probably was in a antique shop or somewhere where I picked these up. Village People doing Macho Man. Hit number 25 in July of 78. And the B-side of this one is In the Navy. So I'm not sure which one would be the, well, this one hit number 3 in March of '79 as well, but In the Navy is a pretty well-known song from them. The next one up is probably their biggest hit, but it's on a Collectibles label, so it's clearly a reissue. This one I'm not sure. This one does say the A-side for In the Navy. I stand corrected. I just noticed that notation there. So yeah, Macho Man only hitting number 25 and being marked as the B-side, so that's interesting. Macho Man was originally the B-side to In the Navy. Cool. Good to know. And on that Collectibles series, now, who would you guess we would have by the Village People on a Collectible reissue? YMCA. Probably their 2 biggest songs was YMCA and In the Navy. And Macho Man's another one. I'd be hard-pressed to come up with a 4th one for you. But I definitely... excuse me. I definitely know those 3. Because this B-side here, even though it's a reissue, San Francisco, You've Got Me, I do not know that at all. And it's interesting too, this is from 1992 from Collectible. So this is right there where the main market had died out and the jukebox market was probably getting a lot more activity because they weren't able to go to the store and buy 45s anymore. You were having to order them special from one of these other distributors that was supplying platters for jukeboxes. And I've got a lot of these Collectibles, and that's where they come from, and that's what they were all about. And 1992. So, show you one more collectible one here real quick. And that's Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. And I know that song. I'm pretty sure you probably do too. Clearly marked as side A there. Got a little bit of sticker stuck to my finger. And the B-side is Love Unlimited Orchestra doing Love's Theme. So this is one of those back-to-backs with 2 different artists for us. So that wraps up that episode. Hope you come back for the final installment. We will finish this series then. Have a great day.